Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the Chrissie Mayr podcast. We are on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you're listening to us on iTunes right now, go ahead and leave a 5-star review. Really quick, I want to get some stand-up dates out of the way up top. August 12th, I'll be in Beach Haven, New Jersey, performing at Bird and Betty's, and then I'm heading to New Orleans. I'm going to be doing 4 shows out there at the Comedy House in New Orleans, August 13th and 14th. Then heading back to Vegas with comedians of the Compound, September 10th and 11th. We'll be at the Plaza Hotel performing at the Comedy Works Theater there. And then back to Texas, September 17th and 18th. I'll be headlining Hyenas out there in Dallas. And I think October 16th, I'll be back with comedians of the Compound. We'll be performing at a stadium in Lakewood, New Jersey. And then I just booked 4 shows out in Santa Monica, California. So I'm going to be doing like a little bit of an LA trip, October 22nd and 23rd at the Broadway Comedy Club West. Yes, and for tickets and details, go to ChrissieMayr.com. And yeah, I'm adding more dates to the tour all the time. So don't get upset if I did not mention your city. All right. I'm so excited to have this guy on the podcast today. We met doing Friday Night Tights together, and, we really bonded over that one joke I made. No, we're... we will be friends. I don't know. We'll see. I think what he does is so great. You may know him from his own YouTube channel where he critiques TV, film, movie trailers, really all things kind of pop culture. He's also the author of the Ryan Drake series. You may know him as Will Jordan. You may also know him as the Critical Drinker. Hello.
Hello. How's it going?
It's going great. Are you drunk for all of your shows, of all your YouTube shows?
I'm drunk for all of my days of my life. That's the only way to get through. Man, I was just listening to all those tour dates. I'm impressed that you could just reel all of those things off. I can't even remember what the last video I made was.
It's hard. Like it's definitely a stretch. Like usually I have like a card written with everything out, but I'm saying them every day, so I do kind of remember them. It's difficult though. So I didn't know. Okay, so I was like, okay, either the Critical Drinker is like a cute nickname, or you really are like committing to the meaning of it and drinking and drunk.
I'm all about the method acting,
All right, I'm gonna
Oh, what have we got there?
Yeah, that's right. It's like I never got with like the hard stuff. Like maybe I'll have vodka, but like I don't know, these hard seltzers. It's white girl summer. I'm not gonna apologize.
Okay. No, whatever works for you. Whatever works for you.
Okay, so classic interview questions coming at you. Some of your fans may not know your sort of origin story. How did you get into having a YouTube channel? How did you get into being sort of a cultural critic? Was it always just, you'd watch, shows and movies and you're like, wow, this really pisses me off. And then it sort of built up to a boiling point, or, was it always part of your sort of dream?
Yeah, I'll try and give the short version of this because the reality is kind of long-winded, but it was probably like back in the earlier days of YouTube that I first started doing this. I was just messing around, really. I wanted to learn about video editing, all that stuff. It was probably like 10 years ago that I started doing it. And I was just doing little reviews of movies, that sort of thing. Because I was really interested in storytelling. It was something I'd always enjoyed doing. And so I thought I could combine those two things. I can start talking about the story structure of movies and all that sort of thing. But then my writing career took off. I got my first publishing deals. And so I kind of left YouTube behind, put it on the back burner for many years so I could focus on writing books. But then probably, around about 2017, 2018, man, I just started to get really unhappy with the state of entertainment. I think we've all talked about this sort of thing before, but the change that we started to notice in how the movies that we used to love are now shown to us, and a lot of the ways it was kind of spoiling older franchises and the things that we'd grown up with. And I just thought I really wanted to be part of that. I wanted to be part of that discussion. And I thought maybe I can use some of the things I've learned about writing and story structure and all that stuff and try and bring that in and get back into it again. And so I did. It didn't really go anywhere because I only had a few hundred subscribers. I didn't have a channel. And it wasn't until I started... I got drunk one day and just kind of did a recording like that and just decided, right, I'm not going to be serious about any of this stuff. I'm just going to have fun with it and take the piss out of it. And it happened to be that I was talking about Captain Marvel, I think, and all the stuff going on around that. And it just took off. It exploded. And before I knew it, that video had like 1 million views and I had like tens of thousands of subscribers, like within a matter of days almost.
Holy cow.
It just went from there. So
I mean,
I thought, this works.
If anybody is worthy of thousands of subscribers and all that rage, it's definitely Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so much. It did so terribly that they changed the name of the sequel. It was going to be like Captain Marvel 2, and they're calling it like what the freaking Extremists or something. The Marvels.
Yeah, it's the Marvels because it's so marvelous.
The Extremist would be the movie they make about like everybody on Friday Night Tights. Like me, you, like everybody who's like pro freedom.
Yeah, it's like just speaking our minds and having a laugh. Like, oh, these people must be stopped.
Yeah. Wow. So it was Brie Larson that finally brought out that first video from you.
That was it, yeah, and it worked great. And I thought, well, if this is the thing that people enjoy, then that's what I'll keep doing. And so it's just gone from there. And as it happens, there's been an awful lot that I can talk about in terms of like all these different movies that have been badly handled. So it's done really well, and that's kind of how the channel's grown. And now we're at what 850,000 subscribers. So
wow, yeah. You're crushing it, and you got a lot of fans in the chat. Did you go to school? Like, did you go to school for writing? Did you always want to be an author?
No, I never went to a single creative writing course. Never got any real formal qualifications in any of that stuff. I just kind of, I guess, learned on the job. And I think a lot of the time you learn just by observing. You see other writers, other movies, other storytellers, and you pick up things that work really well, and you gradually start to bring that into your own work. And so, I just kind of taught myself, I suppose.
Yeah. Who were your inspirations as far as like storytelling and I guess craft goes?
I mean, I grew up like when I was reading books and really got into literature and stuff, like it was always fantasy novels that I was into. So like it would be things like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. Like I love that idea, especially when it's things like fantasy or science fiction, where it's none of it's based in the real world. It's just entirely the author that came up with this, the whole universe, the world, all the characters in it. And I was always fascinated with that idea that you can just take something that just started off in your head, just this little idea for a story, and turn it into this great sprawling epic that thousands or millions of people all around the world can buy into and really get absorbed in. And that was the kind of thing that inspired me, I think, that got me into storytelling, because it's just the greatest thing you can do, really, is like it's a real expression of art and creativity.
It's exactly that. Yeah, it's creativity, and it's like no wonder. And I'm triggered by all this too, but it's no wonder that in your work, like you're so triggered by this trend going on right now, which is basically taking advantage of nostalgia, taking advantage of kind of established storylines just for the fan base, just for the sort of like automatic audience, and then kind of ruining the stories. It makes sense for why you're like, no, it's the story is most important. Like, why not just create a brand new story? Why prey upon people's emotions? Well, we know why they do that, but it seems really unjust.
Yeah, I mean, what you get now is it's the same tiresome cycle that just keeps repeating over and over. Like they'll take some favorite franchise or series or whatever, and they'll say, hey, we're going to reboot it, or we're going to give it a modern twist, or a new way of looking at things. And then they'll just use that as an excuse to pump in all of their political views, all their ideology, all that crap. that just absolutely kills the enjoyment of things. And then when the fans of the original work start saying, no, this is not what we used to enjoy about it. You're perverting something that used to be really good and you're turning it into a divisive disaster. They then get labeled as being toxic and they can't move with the times and they can't accept new things. And it just starts another round of arguments and frustration from everyone. And it just happens over and over again. And it's just like, I don't know how you get out of this cycle, but man, it's destroying the entertainment industry little by little.
Do you ever feel like overall kind of beaten down by it all? Or do you feel like there are enough kind of like, I hate saying the word allies because I feel like that's such like a leftist word, but like there are enough kind of, oh God, they've ruined so many words for me. Do you feel like there are enough, like, I guess kind of like YouTubers and like fellow culture critic influencer types that feel the same way so that you don't end up losing your mind?
Yeah, I mean, like I try to balance it out with, watching or reviewing good movies that I know I enjoy, so that I'm not just constantly, reviewing things that I hate and being constantly negative, because it does bring you down if you get like that. You end up just getting really pessimistic about everything. But yeah, in terms of like the bigger picture, I think now, because it used to be, you go back a few years, it would just be the actual culture critics that would pick up on this stuff, and like general audiences were kind of oblivious to it because it was still relatively subtle. But now, like, even they are cottoning on to it and realizing, no, this is garbage. Like what you're producing now, this is not what I want to see. And you can notice it. You notice it with the declining box office of various movies and various franchises as time goes by. Like people just tune out. It's not always an active revolt. They're not always enraged by something they've seen. They just get that general sense of, oh, I'm not enjoying this. This doesn't excite me the way it used to. They maybe can't put their fingers on why. They just know they don't want to see any more of it. And I think when that starts happening, then you're on the right side.
Yeah, and it's definitely gone from like, I don't know why I'm not like, to, I feel like a big moment for me when I really noticed, I think you said 2016, 2017 is when you were like, fuck, I got to talk about this stuff. For me, the moment was like 2016, the all-female remake of Ghostbusters. That to me was my first, like, they're hitting us over the head with this. Like, this is not any kind of a sequel that anybody asked for. I mean, like, yes, it had, maybe you could have justified another Ghostbusters movie. Like, that's why I was very excited to see the new trailer that just came out now. But when this trailer came out, I'm going to show it. This trailer came out in 2016 and I was like, oh man. At the time I was like, oh, this is really annoying. But you know what? They're trying to give, these SNL stars a spot. We had seen Bridesmaids, that had done pretty well. Amy Schumer had a movie or two out, and you're like, all right, I guess they're just doing like these like funny female movies. But who knew that it would be the start of a really kind of icky trend of kind of like anti-man stuff. Wait, let me play the right one.
God, I'm not sure I'm ready for this again.
Let's see if I'll get a copyright straight.
I'm having flashbacks.
30 years ago, they didn't mention anything that happened 30 years ago.
Yeah. So they were never trying to be funny in the movie. They were taking what was happening seriously. Apart from, Bill Murray's character, who was kind of like the voice of sarcasm and stuff. But generally, yeah, it straddled that perfect line between, horror and the supernatural and like dry humored comedy in between, and that's why it works so well. And it's very rare that you got a movie like Ghostbusters that just walked that perfect line. And yeah, you always had that sense as a kid, like, oh, this is right on the cusp of being like a horror movie, but not quite. It gives you just enough laughs to draw it back. But with this, it's like a comedian desperately trying to sell a gag that just isn't landing. But instead of just moving on, they keep going with it. That's what it always felt like with this movie. And I think when you learned a little bit about how it was made, it was basically just ad-libbed about 90% of the time. And you can't do that to people. You can't just turn a camera on them and sort of tell them to be funny and expect great stuff to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And I, sometimes like I came from an improv background and then went on to stand up. So sometimes you can have really brilliant improvised moments that enhance a movie. But especially in the case of Leslie Jones, I just was like, she's not like breaking any creative ground here. She's like a cartoon character, and she's this at this point in 2016 when this came out, I was like, she is the same like loud, obnoxious person I've seen her in every sketch in SNL and like other movies that she'd been in. And I think had this same crew been made, like if they were going to do a Ghostbusters remake with the same crew now in 2021, I think they would have made Leslie Jones like try to maybe shove her into like the scientist role, just to be like, look, we have a Black female scientist. But I feel like other than that, it would have been pretty much the same. And like this trailer, yeah, everything's goofy, and like just like you were saying, they're pushing the joke too hard. If you had, play this trailer for a live audience, how many actual laughs would you be getting?
Yeah, I think as well. Like if you look at how they work with their characters, when you take the original Ghostbusters movie, you had Janine, who was like the receptionist for the Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
And she was sassy and like she was basically too good for the job, but she was doing it because like she couldn't find anything else. And so
that's every receptionist job I've had. I've felt that very much.
And so like when the bit when she picks up the phone and she's like, "Oh, Ghostbusters, what do you want?" It's great, it's funny. But then when you've got the equivalent in the new movie, you've got Kevin, and he's played by Chris Hemsworth, and the whole shtick around him is that he's this gorgeous hunk of a man, but he's absolutely dumb as a bag of rocks. But it's not even like he's just a little bit stupid. He's like so comically dumb that you think like, oh no, he's actually got something wrong with him. And so it doesn't even become funny then. It's so over the top and ridiculous. And so it's just another example of how they took everything to the extreme with the new movie. And it's, funnily enough, it's always the male characters that are dumb and incompetent and useless. But, that's part of how these movies are done now.
Of course. Yeah. And they were like, well, can we put a helmet on Helmsworth? Like, no, we need to see his face. That was a moment for me, like watching this movie, like, oh, they really are setting out to make the male characters look dumb and incompetent. And now it's like, fast forward to 2021, like, man, we've hit so much over the head with it. And like, especially with Loki, which I did watch and I do want to get to. Let me see if anything else interesting comes up in this movie. She's actually so very funny, but yeah, they're probably like, okay, we need you to play this at an 11 because
there's
not coming together.
Yeah. There's something bizarrely fascinating about her because like she never stops doing stuff. Like even when she's just stood in the background, she'll be like pulling weird faces and stuff. And like you just can't take your eyes off her. I don't know if it's to this day. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but man, she catches the attention. That's for sure.
Yeah, she definitely has like this little like performy bug, and I definitely know that feeling because like it's like you want to be entertaining even when it's not like technically your turn. It's like it's something that's very hard to shut off. Let's see what else here. Oh, that pretty much. Okay. All right. And then contrast, this was, everyone knows we're going to go on and on about how horrible it was, but here is the new one. What did this just come out yesterday?
Yeah.
I know you just did a video about it. Not that one. I am figuring this out. Here we go. Here we go.
Do I need to do a song or something while we're waiting?
Putting some time.
What are you doing here in Somerville?
I was like, oh, Stranger Things kid.
Now, I think this might be the older of the trailers for this.
Oh, yeah?
There's two.
Is there a better one I should play?
It's not so much better. It's just newer. This is the one that came out a good few months ago.
Oh, well.
If you maybe look up Ghostbusters Afterlife Trailer 2, maybe.
Did see that one. And I was like, why is there more than one? 2.
Are you the parent you always wanted to be?
No.
Loving.
Okay. Remove. Okay, I'm bringing up number 2.
Present.
Wow, he really grew up kind of awkwardly. I mean, it's hard to grow up on screen.
That line between drama and comedy, there's definitely little gags there and stuff, but the overall tone is quite a serious one. Whereas this, yeah, like I say, the general tone is a serious one, but you can drop in little sight gags like the little marshmallow man and stuff. And, I'm sure there's going to be lots of little one-liners and stuff like that. I think one of the things I picked up on in my video is, having the little group of kids take up the proton packs and start fighting ghosts. It's a bit of a gamble because it could get a bit annoying. They could come across as kind of precocious, but hopefully it works.
Do you think
overall,
this is a result of how horribly the 2016 version went over? Or do you think, well, this is the son of the guy who directed the original, and maybe he's more closely in line with kind of the story and the purpose of the film, the original?
Yeah, so I think this is definitely a reaction to how that film was received, because ultimately it lost a ton of money. So they obviously realized, fan reactions aside, what we tried to do here was not working. We have to go back and rework this. And so they finally found a way to do Ghostbusters 3. That I guess they found a way to get Bill Murray on board finally, and they've got all the other original cast back, and they're doing the classic, passing the torch on to the next generation kind of story. So you've got all the things that people probably are looking for, and what you just need to do now is give them a decent story, give them a sort of respectful send-off for the original Ghostbusters, and make it work.
Yeah, some insight in the chat for sure. Ghostbuster 2016 was a long failed SNL bit.
Yeah,
for sure. Oh wait, we missed the end of the trailer where they show Ray.
Oh yeah.
Hold the phone.
Yeah, just a few more seconds.
Wow. Yeah, like how do you not have the old guys in as mentors? Like why isn't that? I mean, I don't know anything about making movies, but that's kind of an obvious to me.
Yeah. I think specifically they left them out of the 2016 one. For the same reason they would do things like, ruin Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars movies. They would never have Han and Leia and Luke all together at the same time, because it would be the only thing that the audiences would actually care about. They wouldn't care about the new characters because they weren't good enough to write good characters.
Yeah. I hope what we'll start to see more of, because now we have many examples of shows and movies where they are pushing what did you call it? Like the message, where you have like this great graphic where like everything comes in. It's like, like LGBT. It's like, oh, it's the best. Yeah, like the message. We have so many examples now where they're pushing the message so hard down our throats, and people have had multiple opportunities to react to it, to show their dislike for it. Do you see the pendulum swinging back the other way? Do you think we will, maybe this trailer is the first of hopefully many new shows and films that will come out that will be a response, that will be sort of anti-woke, or just back to quality storytelling without pushing an agenda?
I think you'll never get a film that's explicitly anti-woke from a mainstream studio. They'll never have the balls to do something like that. What you'll get is just a quiet walking back of a lot of the pandering and the pushing of politics. And this movie, without having seen it, like I can only go by the trailers, it seems to be a good example of that. A recognition of like, we done messed up the last time around. And we're gonna tell a decent story with a good mix of characters. We're going to be respectful to the originals. And maybe that's the best you can hope for. I don't think you're ever going to see like a return to the 1980s when everything was like macho and fueled by testosterone and like, super, like the polar opposite of everything that you've got today. I don't think they would ever have the guts. I know. Well, it was awesome. And it was great to go back and see those movies, but I don't think you'll ever get that again, unfortunately, but maybe you can get it more back towards the center.
Like I always say, like I'll take toxic masculinity over no masculinity any day of the week.
Yeah, because there's generally something really sinister about the opposite, of that. Like these people who claim to be like allies or whatever the word is. there's usually some like weird, sinister undertone to people like that. And so
Absolutely, the people who like front the hardest always have something to hide, and I see it more and more happening with like comedians or like comedic actors, the ones that are the most outspoken about like accepting cancel culture and like we need to be more sensitive. It's like you look back at their work and you're like, oh, there's so much stuff these guys could be canceled for should the woke mob come after them.
yeah,
So it's just it
yeah,
never
very
comes
much.
off genuine to me. It's like why did you get into comedy or acting? It's not because you're like a righteous and good person. It's like you're trying to fill a void, like all of
Yeah,
us.
I mean, and I've heard people say many times about comedy, you know, that the whole purpose of it is to offend, not in a malicious way, but to poke fun at things and to do it kind of equally. And it allows people to take a step back from their lives a little bit and just have a laugh about the things that they take so seriously. And that's the
Absolutely.
great thing about it. But like, if you're afraid of offending people, you can't do comedy anymore. So I don't really know where you're supposed to go with it.
Yeah, it's like you can't your only choice is like break out of it and risk being disliked or just like you get so tight and claustrophobic that like you really can't be creative anymore. It's like you can't express yourself. Super chat, I wonder if you're gonna know what they're talking about. From Okie Native, the real question is, has Christy ever seen Quigley Down Under? Oh, no, I have no idea what this is.
This dude's a legend. Yeah, basically every live stream I did, he would come up with a super chat saying, "You need to watch Quigley Down Under. It's the greatest movie ever." And I did actually watch it eventually. So he was well happy. But yeah, you need to see it now because he's gonna start following you. This is it.
I've seen this guy. He's been in a few of my streams. So, oh God, what's it about?
It's set in like the 19th century, and Tom Selleck plays the main character, and he's like a cowboy from the Wild West, and he's recruited for a job down in Australia, and I don't know what the hell he's supposed to do again. He's like got to find someone or kill someone or whatever, and the bad guy is Alan Rickman, so Hans Gruber himself, and I think Tom Selleck eventually turns against him, and they have a big battle, you know.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna put it on my list, Okie.
There you go.
I want to move on to Loki because I watched everything. I watched all the episodes, and I have mixed feelings about it. There were parts of it I liked, but then my overwhelming feeling was like, okay, yeah, they really seem to be doing their best to just like squish Loki down because like coming out of the all like the last Avengers movie, he was like this cocky, showboaty, confident, like kind of untouchable character. And while I liked seeing more of Tom Hiddleston, and I think he's a really great actor, and like and did the best he could, and kind of like carried so many of the episodes. Like I was like, okay, but the overarching theme here is like, how do we squish him? How do we knock him off his confidence, or no matter what? And even like I kind of liked that he was sort of like falling in love. Like if you could, forget for a second that it was the other version of himself, you're like, okay, is this the character arc? He's getting sweeter. He's kind of seeming like he's learning from his mistakes. And then of course, when he finally makes himself vulnerable, he gets rejected from the female Loki. So, I mean, part of me did like that, but I did feel like there was the overarching theme of just try to make him look bad and powerless at every turn and kind of insulting.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many scenes where what's the bit where he's being punished and he's stuck in this time loop where like one of the characters from the Thor movies comes in and she just knocks him out and kicks him in the balls like over and over again, and like every time
in slightly different ways each time. Like it's
and she's like, pathetic. And there's so many moments where he has to admit that he's a weak person who's always craved attention, and that's why he does bad things. And all of that stuff is just designed to break down the character. And when you're done breaking him down like that, what are you really left with? You've just got this kind of weak, sniveling brat who's not even particularly intelligent anymore, and he just kind of follows other people around, trying to get their attention, not understanding what's going on. Everyone else has got more agency than him, particularly female Loki, obviously. And so you've got a hero that you don't care about and you don't respect anymore. That's not good. That's not a good basis for a story. He can certainly have growth and he can have moments where he's vulnerable or he's outmatched. but give them a basic level of competency at least. They don't even do that. And that's the problem that so many people have with this show. It just, like you say, it breaks them down and it doesn't really build them back up again. And it's frustrating.
All the while, like, female Loki is just like, it's weird. It's like, okay, they are, if they are having these real moments together, it's just, she was, and I'm not gonna say she was like a bad actress, but like she wasn't showing any like her emotional range was like beep. And I don't know if that's on purpose. They didn't want her to seem soft and like traditionally feminine in any way.
The best moment that epitomizes all of this is there's a bit where they're sitting together. I think they're about to go into their final encounter, and Loki's sitting there and he's like, "Oh, it's cold." Now, Loki's a frost giant. Just for people watching, that's his heritage. He's not from Asgard. He's a frost giant, so he shouldn't really feel cold anyway. But the fact that a man's sitting there doing that, and she's just completely not interested. She's like, "I'm not feeling it." Actually, he conjures up a blanket that goes over him to keep him warm, and then eventually he puts it over that to what could have been a nice scene. It could have been her complaining that she was cold. Show just a tiny moment of vulnerability. And he says, "Okay, I've got the ability to help you a little bit." And he conjures up a blanket for her. That would have been a nice scene. It would have worked perfectly well, but they have to subvert it. And they have to make him look like the weak one, as always. And it's just so tiresome.
That would have been
happens
lovely.
again and again.
Right. He's from basically like Scandinavian background, like can handle the cold, right? Men are always too hot. Women are always too cold. It's like, can we keep that one tiny kernel of truth in there that like chicks are usually
I don't want to generalize, but it's pretty rare that a woman's going to complain about being like hot and a man isn't. You know?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yep. And you're just like, is she falling for him too? Is she just pretend? I don't know. I would have liked to see more connection or between the two of them. So I don't know if she was like purposely playing it at a distance, or just maybe there's lack of chemistry there, or they were just telling him to just, puss it up a little more. Thank you for the super chat. The Craig Lee Lawrence Experience. I recently discovered your channel, Chrissy. Great content, and kudos to your interview with Dave Landau. Yes, that was a great one. Thank you. He's a ride on ladder with Crowder. Also, cheers, drinker. Thanks, Craig Lee. Sure. I'll drink the Trules. Oh my God. Oh, that's not good with coffee. Okay. Oh gosh. Okay. What are you feeling hopeful about the future of the sort of, let's see, we had this year, we had WandaVision, Winter Soldier, and and Loki. So we're like, what's ahead? The sort of where they're basically like answering to the multiverse, right? Like this last scene of Loki, like they're cracking open the multiverse. Are you feeling hopeful for what's ahead?
Nah, it just makes my brain hurt. Like all of that multiverse stuff, and I think a lot of people are going to go down this same road. I think there's only so much you can ask people to wrap their heads around, and when you're getting into this crazy like quantum multiple reality stuff, that's getting to the point where people are just going to start to tune out anyway. But I mean, even that aside, like if you look at the more conventional movies that they have, you've got the Eternals. Nobody cares about that. You've got Shang-Chi. Nobody really cares about that. Probably Doctor Strange 2 will be all right because that's all about the multiverse stuff.
I like Doctor Strange. Like he's kind of hot to me. I don't know why.
I'll take your word for it.
He's mysterious, and I just feel like he would be really good at fingering. You know what I mean? Like he's good with his hands. He knows how to open things up. I don't know.
He's got the skills. He's a surgeon as well. He's got very delicate hands.
Exactly, surgeon. Go with his hands. Everything got fucked up. He came back.
I don't know what it was. I think I did go out drinking with my mates before I saw it, but I legit fell asleep in Doctor Strange for about 20 minutes of that movie. And it was a really weird trip when I woke up. Because you're groggy and you're not quite sure what's happening. And I woke up and it was like all this like cities getting folded in half and stuff. And I was like, oh shit, what the fuck am I woken up into?
Like, am I drunk? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
So it was a weird experience, that movie.
Popcorn in my lap. Right, and Black Widow, which I haven't seen yet. But yeah, we'll see what the next phase of Marvel brings.
What I've heard is it's really gonna embrace identity politics. Much like the comic books have. They've kept it at bay so far, but phase 4, which is what we're going into now, it's going to be all about that. And so it killed the comic book industry. Apparently it's going to do the same to the movies if it follows that trend. So yeah, I'm not particularly optimistic about where the MCU is going. I don't see anything particularly good coming out of it for phase 4. But hey, it was fun while it lasted.
Oh God. Oh, let's play him out, dude.
Yeah.
So sad. But sometimes you have to call a spade a spade. Do you think streaming services are bad for the film industry? It was great during the lockdowns. Some places are still in lockdowns, to have the Netflix, and there's tons now. But as studios try to be like, okay, yeah, come back to the movies, please. We're putting stuff out there. Is it almost like too little, too late? Are they too powerful? Is Disney too powerful? Like, look at what happened to Gina Carano. It's like Disney owns so many like areas now. Where is she gonna work again? I don't know. I know Ben Shapiro picked her up for to work on the Daily Wire to do possibly content out of there.
Yeah, I think she was going to perhaps make a movie there, and that's not going to upset any apple carts really. They're just not big enough to make an impact. It might in time, but it's not going to be enough. I think there's a real problem with content overload right now because I don't even have that many streaming services considering how many there are. Like I've got Disney Plus, I've got Sky, which is just like satellite TV over here. I've got Netflix and I've got Amazon Prime Video. And so even amongst those things, there's hundreds and hundreds of shows and movies, like more than I could ever possibly watch. And I think you end up in that situation where it's like the choice paradox. Like the more options you have, the less faith you have in any of them, the less importance you apply to them. And so, you start watching a TV show and like 10 minutes into it, you're like, well, it's not completely gripping me. Cancel that and just move on to the next thing. You don't give anything a chance. And so, man, I just feel like sometimes there's just a bit too much. And they can't sustain it. They can't sustain this level of output. There's just not enough demand for all of it. Like, I think ultimately one streaming service will emerge supreme. And I hate to think it's probably going to be Disney.
It's just going to amoeba or sort of like swallow everything up.
Pretty much, yeah. I think Netflix, they're way down at the moment. Their revenue's taking a massive hit. And I don't know if part of it's because you're starting to come out of lockdown now, or I don't know if they're just deserting it for other streaming services. But yeah, this is where we're at, and it's a shame because in terms of just movies, I like to go to the cinema still. I like to go to movie theaters because it's just a different experience. You'll know yourself. Like you're sitting at home watching a movie in your living room. You've got your phone, you got your laptop. You're probably going to go through the kitchen at one point, or you have a delivery guy come with pizza or whatever. It's just endless distractions. You can't really focus on the film. Whereas, like, at least in the movies, you're kind of locked into just watching the movie and nothing else. And I kind of missed that.
Yeah, it's totally immersive. And yeah, it's kind of like if you feel you put pressure on yourself not to check your phone, like while you're like, I paid for it. This is the experience. Like, don't check your phone. It's because I'll try, I'll make popcorn at home and then I'll light $15 on fire and it's just not the same. I just like to be there physically. And it's been sad, like how many movie theaters have closed down. Like, have you noticed that a lot where you are? Or you're in Scotland, right?
Yeah, I am in Scotland. Over here, we don't really have independent cinemas. There's barely anything. It's all just big chains. And so they've kind of weathered the storm to some extent. I think the government's paid subsidies or something to keep them going. So now they're open again. And most of them are still there for now.
Interesting. And how's it going, like lockdown wise over there?
We're pretty much out of it now. England is further ahead than us. They don't wear face masks or anything. Like, there's no restrictions now on really anything. Up here, you're still told to wear masks, like indoors, like on trains or whatever. But otherwise, yeah, you can go wherever you want. You can see whoever you want. So mostly out of it.
Is the general feeling kind of like, we're over it? Like, even if people are telling you to wear, is it like kind of how I feel like how it is a bit? Really, I guess it depends who you're talking to and what their beliefs are. But the feeling now, like the CDC is trying to bring back like more masks indoors, and I feel like most people are just like, meh, like, all right.
Yeah, there's genuinely people out there who would happily stay in lockdown for the rest of their lives. Like, I think they're actually like scared of going back to normality, which is really weird.
It's a perfect like get out of life free card.
Yeah, but like in Scotland, I can tell you, like once the pubs reopened, it was like a zoo because that was it. Like the floodgates were open and people just poured out, and there's scenes of like public parks. They were just rammed full of people and they were drunk and fighting and everything. And I just thought, well, what did you expect? You've kept them cooped up for 6 months. Like, they couldn't go anywhere or do anything. Like, obviously they're going to want a big blowout when they get free again.
Oh yeah, people get drunk, people get pregnant left and right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, got to make up for lost time. And I'm gonna make up for these lost super chats. Here we go. Nearsighted Cyclopes. Female Loki reminded me of the first female doctor, who we will lovingly call Dr. Karen.
Yeah, she had that look about her, and she had that really, I've just got absolute disdain for everyone around me, especially if they're male. So, yeah, I get where they're coming from.
Oh, but some of us still love men. There's a couple of us out there. Peter DeRosa, two of my fave YouTubers together. The gods smile on us this day. Love you guys. Drinker, you got to do a happy hour on Black Rain or Heat. Cheers, brother.
Nice.
What's Black Rain?
Is it the one I'm thinking of? Is it a Christian Slater
porn
movie? I'm gonna have to look this one up. I'm pretty sure it's a Christian Slater movie that was directed by John Woo, but I could be wrong. Give me a few seconds here. But yeah, Heat's a fantastic movie. Black Rain. Oh no, it's not. 1989 film. New York City policeman who must track down Sato, a Japanese gangster who gives them the slip while being transported to Osaka for his murder trial. I was miles off. Directed by Ridley Scott.
Ooh.
Yeah, okay. Man, I don't think I've seen that one in that case. It's got Michael Douglas in it as well. Awesome. Yeah.
You can drink sake while you watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Drinker, do people always comment on your setup here? Because every time I see you on a stream, I'm always so worried someone's gonna like come behind you, like because the door is right behind you. It just looks so.
You'll just see like a sinister figure like creeping through the door.
I'm waiting for it to slowly open at any moment.
It was. I did one stream where my dog was lying on the couch, like off to the side, and like she didn't move a muscle throughout the entire stream. She just fast asleep, and then she started moving, and so everyone was like, "What the fuck's that in the background?" Because it was kind of in shadow. It was just this black shape moving around.
Oh my gosh, it's like one of those Saw movies where like the whole movie, the guy is like on the ground pretending to be dead in a puddle of blood, and then like the whole movie goes by and he like gets up. Oh, that I don't know, that had a great effect on me. I was like, holy shit.
But yeah, like I'm not like some YouTubers. They've got entire rooms full of like shelves full of action figures and cool models Gary. And awesome stuff. Yeah, and I just haven't had time to get all that stuff yet, so I'm just like in a room. Like it's not that interesting.
You have some pieces of flair behind you there. Like you have a showcase with like a few tasteful. Very classy back there.
Keeping it minimalist, you see.
Yeah. I know. I feel that way too. Like I need to just like up my flair. But then I'm like, oh look, I have a Borg stuffy, and they're like, oh god, get it away.
I like the Toys R Us box in the background. That's a good touch.
Oh my god. Okay, so this is like I'm like away. I'm like upstate right now, but this is like the Turtles like travel. Are you up? Iggy, where are you? Okay, he is up. This is the Turtles like travel bin. He lives in a normally he lives in like an enclosure, but like this is like a travel bin. And so we put like he's a Herman. Oh, he's blurry. He hasn't been on a live stream in a while, so he kind of clams up. Yeah, we put like little heat bulbs under him, and like I'm probably gonna put him back pretty soon because sometimes he just will like shit in my hand and like pee. Like what I've learned about tortoises is like he pees and then he squirts out white stuff
Ooh.
and he poops. So I don't know. All right, I'm probably gonna get some sick jokes in the chat for that one.
Yeah. I'm saying nothing.
Saying nothing. All right, Colt Seaman. Speaking of semen, thank you so much for the super chat. First off, drinker, can you please give a shout out to my friend Fallon, who's at basic right now for the National Guard? Second, let's play a game of Bang, Marry, Erase, WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, or Loki. Finally, all love to Chrissy. Oh, thanks, Colt.
Well, best of luck to your friend Fallon, who's doing basic right now. I hope he sails through it, and yeah, great stuff for his service.
Yeah.
So. Bang, marry, and erase. Oh, man.
Are we not saying fuck, marry, kill anymore?
Whatever you want.
Trying to save me the YouTube strike. Oh, well. Perfect.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I swear all the time on my videos, I never get a strike or anything like that. I don't know if, like, the YouTube algorithm literally can't puzzle out what I'm saying in my accent. And it
might be that.
Fuck. What does that mean?
You might be getting, like, the Scottish help over there.
Yeah.
Okay, fuck America, WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, or Loki. I would say kill Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think out of the three, that's the most grating and the most like obnoxious of the lot.
It was obnoxious. I really couldn't buy that that the sister of the guy who's an Avenger couldn't get a bank loan. You're telling me there's no connections, there's nobody who can help them out? Like, that's just not realistic.
Yeah, it was just done there to push an agenda, push a message. I suppose out of the last two, I'd bang Loki and marry WandaVision if I had to rank them. Yeah.
So WandaVision less insufferable than Loki. You felt like they were less
probably
pushing a message.
I gave WandaVision some credit because I really like the concept, you know, like the 1950s sitcoms and the kind of attention to detail as they went through the different decades. I like that. It was a nice little touch. It's just that it had a really disappointing ending, whereas Loki was just kind of shit all the way through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, speaking of shows that you gotta kind of like be patient with, the first 2-3 episodes of WandaVision, it was like I don't really get what's going on. I bet a lot of people tuned out for that reason, just because it still wasn't they weren't making the audience aware that like this is you're watching somebody's like Conjuring. You're just like, oh, are we watching something in the 50s?
See, I was intrigued enough to watch it because I love when they do this in films and stories and stuff where everything seems to be normal and cheerful and everything, but you just get these little glimpses of something more sinister beneath the surface, just a little hint that there's something not quite right about all of it. And, you know, you gradually get that stronger sense as you go through each episode. I like that gradual build-up, and I think it's quite a cool concept to play with. That's what kept me invested in WandaVision, ironically enough.
Yeah, and also, what's her name? Olsen. She, I think, did a really great job. I still can't believe she's related to like Mary-Kate and Ashley.
Yeah, Elizabeth Olsen. Yeah, she's a good actress, and she gave a great performance because again, she has to be so many different versions of herself throughout that show. You know, she has to act like the 1950s housewife. She has to be like the 70s, you know, kind of girlfriend in like the bell-bottom jeans and everything. Like it's and her attitude changes all the way through it. So it's pretty good acting, you know.
And still be able to like show those like hints, like those cracks of right, exactly what you said, something more sinister beneath the surface. Yeah, I guess I would agree with you there on bang Loki and marry WandaVision, because my biggest gripe with WandaVision was probably just like it's not really, at the end it wasn't believable, like they don't understand what you sacrificed for them. And it's like, you held a whole town hostage like that. Don't expect anybody to be sympathetic to your motherly instincts.
This is the thing that's really crept into these Marvel TV shows, is the really sketchy morality that they're trying to push, where like you know, characters are doing really awful things and then they're just kind of told, yeah, it's fine, don't worry too much about it. There's something like that in Black Widow where I know you haven't seen it, but Rachel Weisz's character turns out to be like a kind of scientist working for the bad guy, and she's developed all these mind control techniques that have basically enslaved thousands of girls all around the world and turned them into Black Widows. They're physically compelled to do what they're ordered to.
Is it called TikTok?
Her. Yeah, yeah. But then she's never punished for that, and she's never even really blamed for it. She's just told to go on her way and everything's fine, which is really odd. And I feel like in a different decade that wouldn't have happened, but now it's okay. And it's really, really strange stuff they're trying to push now. I don't get it.
Right. So is it a reflection of our like slipping morality, or is it just laziness to not give those scenes the real weight of reality?
I think there's a little bit of both. I think, again, when we were talking about how they will try to put down male characters and they'll try to big up the female characters at any cost, to the point where they're never even shown as being fallible. Like Wanda, for example, she did some pretty awful things in WandaVision. She held an entire town hostage and mind controlled them. And then she's praised at the end, and she's told they'll never understand what you had to sacrifice for them. That's a really strange thing to say to someone who's done something like that. But I feel like if Wanda had been a male, she would have not gotten away with this. She would have been punished.
Right, because she would have been like, oh, the heartless male. I would have really enjoyed seeing, and we saw like maybe snippets of it. Like, remember kind of on the outskirts of town when someone would get to like the far edges of town and things would get real squirrely, like you'd see people looping. And I think one of the characters, like one of the side characters alluded to like their son or their child just being stuck or being gone. I think if we could have peeked into maybe like borderline some child abuse, like basically like not directly through her hand, but but as a result of her actions, and just like, not like I'm asking to see anything gross, but like, let's see some real ramifications of what she's done. I don't know. Maybe if she could see it, and then she questions her whole like, oh, maybe I'm not a great mother. Look what I'm doing to these other kids. Yeah,
I think they cover that in the show because there's an issue right throughout the whole show where you don't ever see children in the background. There's never any children playing in the streets or anything like that. And it's because all of the real children in the town have basically been locked in their rooms. Like Wanda has forced the adults to lock them in and they can't get them out. It is framed as if she's doing it as an act of mercy. Like, oh, well, they're safe in their rooms. But they've been there for days and they don't have any food.
Yeah, they're shitting everywhere and they're starving.
Yeah, and they're probably terrified. It's like, why is my mom and dad acting like completely different people now? And why have they locked me in this place?
Yeah, a few of them probably have escaped outside their windows.
Yeah, so it's all kinds of stuff which is just never addressed. And it's really odd that like the show just glosses over all these things because they're pretty serious problems.
Yeah, she's pretty like kind of selfish in that way. Thank you for the super chat, Terminal, in a currency that I don't know. CZK, thank you so much. Could that be Czech dollars?
That's Czech coronas, yeah.
Dutch dollars. Ooh, coronas. Good choice of guest. Just a quick question. Any hope for Dune? To this day, I am of the opinion that the best adaptation was an old television series, so the book deserves a representative film.
Yeah, I've got hope for it. Denis Villeneuve is a pretty damn good director, and I like the visual style of it. I think they've got an amazing cast. I'm planning to do a video on the trailer, actually, just talking about it, but I hope it's going to be good because Dune's one of those classic novels that really deserves that kind of adaptation. Like, I wasn't a big fan of the David Lynch film from back in the 80s. That was borderline insanity. But yeah, hopefully they do better this time.
Cool. Raj, thank you so much for the super sticker. Let me just squirrel through here, make sure I didn't miss anything else. I thought this said Meatwad, but it's Mazit Wizard. Wizad. Drinker, have you ever watched Kung Fu Hustle? Is it the type of film you'd review? Chrissy, I've started following your boobs. That Twitter profile. Oh my God. Yeah, my boobs are blowing up. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
Are they gonna eclipse you?
One day, I fear they will. Mm-hmm.
Oh no, they've got a mind of their own.
I'm gonna be like, eyes up here.
Yeah. Kung Fu Hustle, yeah, lighthearted, kind of fun action comedy. So yeah, I'd happily talk about it. I'd at least do a stream on it for sure.
Okay, cool. Let me scrolling through. Wow, a lot of comments. Did I get everybody? Oh no. Good God. Oh, see, they like go away from me. All right. Here's one here. Super Blue Man A. So I slept with Chrissy last night. It was amazing. Man B. Oh yeah, tell me about it. Man A. I would, but it's an inside joke. Is this supposed to be a joke? Super Blue. Oh lordy. I'm gonna say low marks for that.
If you're, I'm not sure if like you're maybe missing, or you probably haven't missed any of the super chats, but you can obviously bring up the full list of them if you just go to like your YouTube studio. Just because I could see that there's quite a lot there on the list, and I'm not sure if you might have got them all.
Okay, here's one. Raynor Chen, what is this wonderful mashup? By the way, what advice would you have for someone who's writing a story on a young kung fu master trying to survive in woke, I guess that's San Francisco? The quartering suggested using poop needles as makeshift darts.
I mean, man, what can you do? You have to fight like hordes of homeless people that are trying to take your spare change.
Goodness. Okay, Ian, so forth. Drinker on Chrissie Mayr podcast. What delightfully devilish crossover here I chanced upon. This seems like a British person. Cheers from another Scot. Aha.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, Scottish people, you say things like happened upon, chanced upon. It's very cute.
Yeah, we're basically stuck in the Middle Ages in terms of our dialect over here.
I like it. Though. It gives you character. Okay, here is another one from Middle Age Crazy. Is there a series out since last year, 2020 or 2021, that you'd recommend as worthwhile watching / binging?
I'd recommend Cobra Kai.
Yes.
I think that was 2019 that first started, but awesome series, great fun.
So good. I was like gasping every episode, and it was believable.
Yeah,
I really love it. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, the guy that plays Johnny, just fantastic actor, just really funny. Again, great example of like an understated sort of performance that just, his lines are brilliant, and it really sells it.
And yeah, he really does sells it. He really does sell it. He's just like a regular, like real ass dude. And I don't know if that's who this guy is in real life, but I would believe it. Yeah. I would believe it. Okay. I think I got everything. And if I didn't, tell me somebody. Question marks. Wait, that's not a super chat. Chrissy got the juicy bits. Hey, stop it. Drinker juice creamers. Oh lordy. Okay. Did we talk enough about Brie Larson? Yeah, I think she's scaling back away from her YouTube channel. I think that was. Did you check out her YouTube channel at all?
No, I mean, I watched the very first video when it came on, and then promptly lost interest because I don't think there was anything. I don't think she was adding much to the world through YouTube. But yeah, I can imagine now that we're kind of out of lockdown and like movies are starting back up again, she'd be like, "Yeah, fuck this. I'm going to get back to like doing stuff that's easy."
Yeah. I think it was something in her free time. Her management was like, please do. You just try to be more likable. Please, Brie, just do. But she would do workout videos with like no shoes on. And I'm like, you are trying to appeal to the feet people. Like nobody does that on purpose.
That's a pretty narrow demographic.
No like woman does a video or takes a photo with her like in 2021 without being like, oh yeah, it's possible. Someone from the foot fetish community could stumble upon this. Oh yeah, I think this is a good point about Cobra Kai. Sounds like the writers aren't worried about accidentally pleasing the quote wrong audience in Cobra Kai, and I think that is what's good about having an original story to tell. You're probably less focused on an agenda.
I think it always had that irreverent feel to it, and it does, it does poke fun at woke culture a fair bit. Probably not enough that people would be genuinely offended by it, but it does make light of like a lot of their terms, like, oh, she invaded my safe space and I found that very triggering, and like how people can manipulate that to get like what they want. turning the rules against people. And yeah, it actually has a serious point as well, the show, like particularly in the first couple of seasons where, they kind of suggest that maybe a bit of like old-fashioned ass kicking, like taking no shit from people attitude is what you actually need in life, and it's what gets you through, and it'll help you a lot. The problem, I guess, which the show again demonstrates, is like when it goes too far in the other direction, that's when you just become a douchebag and like end up getting into fights and causing problems for everyone. And so it's almost suggesting like, hey, maybe there's a kind of middle ground here where you can not take shit from people, but also not just be a bully.
Absolutely. And it was a great example, like both leaders of each like karate school, like the guy who played Johnny and the guy who played the main, like the OG karate kid. Yeah, Daniel. Like we both see them get to be assholes. We both see them kind of be heroes and make good points. And they both do. We see them both stray into like, okay, yeah, now you're being a dick. You got to pull back and see the other person's point of view. Rod Thunderheart. Wow, that sounds like a superhero name. Hail, Christy. Hail, Drinker. Just wanted to drop a few dollars to help keep your I thought you said tights on, to keep your lights on. Drinker, have you ever tried Cuban rum, Havana Club, or Ron Santiago?
Yeah, I've had Havana Club. It was delicious. So yeah, very much enjoyed. Haven't had Ron Santiago though.
Is rum like your drink of choice?
Not really, but if you offer me a glass, I'm not going to say no. It's definitely good on occasion. I've got Boom Boo rum at the moment, which is fantastic stuff. So bit of that
rum?
Boom Boom rum, yeah, or Boom Boo. Sorry, Boom Boo.
Do people send you? I imagine people like fans would send you a lot of bottles because you're the drinker.
They would, yeah. See, I don't have a PO box at the moment. And funnily enough, I didn't feel like giving out my home address on YouTube, but
that's really good idea.
I'm sure nothing bad would happen.
Then you really will have people showing up behind you in your door. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get there eventually.
Okay, cool. Bubbles for the win, Drinker. Not sure if subbed you for your love of whiskey or your deep dives into the dumpster fire that is the Star Wars franchise. Any hope for a redemption if the franchise? Wait a minute. I think there's some words missing here.
I think his keyboard, someone swapped around the keys on his board. How do you like your doves?
Deep dove. I like a deep dove.
So any hopes for redemption of the franchise?
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah and no. Like, I think it's possible, but it would take a long time. Things like The Mandalorian proved that there's still an appetite for Star Wars for sure, and it's never really going to go away. It just lies dormant for a while. It's just, can the people who did The Mandalorian be given the power to do the movies as well? Or is that going to be too much for the people at Lucasfilm? Are they going to say, no, we need to have our politics and everything? Still don't know. All I can say is Mandalorian worked reasonably well so far. They had a bunch of other shows lined up. They seem to be shooting themselves in the foot, like firing Gina Carano and stuff. So they're not helping their perception amongst the fans. But
yeah, definitely not. That was a big no-no in my opinion too. Okie Native back. Tatiana or Jennifer Connelly? Tough choice.
Damn it. Man. Oh, Tatiana's out of earshot, so I'm going to say Jennifer Connelly. If based on her look in The Rocketeer, she was gorgeous in that film. Like, that was like a moment of watching that when I was like, oh my God, they've shot her just perfectly. She had that real like 1940s starlet look to her, just like that classic look. Oh
my goodness. Yeah, I'm going to share this. She looks like Dita Von Teese. Do you know her?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, you know her.
Yeah. I know Dita. Not personally.
Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, the whole look, like classic 40s, I guess. Would you call this?
Yeah, I think that, yeah.
Back when ladies were ladies.
Yeah. I think I did, because I did The Rocketeer as a review once, and I kind of compared her look to like, what's the mouth breather lass from the Twilight movies?
The mouth breather from the Twilight movies, Kristen Stewart?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it was a picture of her with like a shaved head, and I was like, I know which one I would pick.
Oh, wait, and who's Tatiana?
A special friend of mine.
Oh.
Don't ask me any more questions.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
I thought I missed somebody that I could easily Google and bring up. Okay.
No. I bring her up in my videos sometimes.
Oh, okay. Super Flea for $5 Euro. Howdy, Chrissy and Drinker. Either of you seen an old Bruce Willis flick, Last Man Standing? No, I've heard of it.
Yes. It's a good one. I'm sure it's based on an older sort of Clint Eastwood movie. So it was originally a Western, and then it's transported into like Prohibition era. And so Bruce Willis is like a kind of mobster guy, like an enforcer who goes up against two rival gangs. And it's a pretty decent film, actually. The action sequences are good cast. And Bruce Willis is just cool as fuck in it.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. Okay. Let's see. Oh, another one. Yay! DLS Chigo. I don't know if this is pronounceable. Is EVS your guest next Wednesday? DLS, my initials, CHGO, Chicago. Okay. He knew I'd have trouble with it, so he explained it. Thank you.
There. It's good they explained his name.
Yeah.
I guess that's a question for you.
Yes, Evan Van Sciver. I think I actually am interviewing him tonight. Let's look at my 9:00 tonight. Ethan Van Sciver. I think he actually was fired from his job. I think he worked in comics. He was either like an artist or a producer of it, and fired from his job for being like an open Trump supporter. So that'll be interesting. Okay, one more from Stephen Otten. Greetings, Chrissy and Drinker. Sounds like I need to sit down and finally binge watch Cobra Kai. By the way, Drinker, just saw your Ghostbusters video. I think we're on the same wavelength on this one, and Jennifer Connelly as well.
Nice, good to know. Thanks, man.
Maybe I will Google her more later. Tell us a little bit about the Ryan Drake series.
Yeah, so it's a series of action thrillers. There's 9 of them altogether. I can't believe I wrote 9 books. So Ryan Drake is like a CIA operative, and the idea is that if an agent or a spy of the CIA should ever be captured or go missing, Drake and his team are sent in to rescue them and bring them home. So in the very first novel, he's sent into a prison in Siberia to rescue a woman. He's not really told much about her. He's just told that he has to get her back to the US at all costs. But when he does manage to bring her back, he is basically, his family is threatened and he's forced to go on the run with this woman. He's told that he has to break her out of CIA custody. And so the series basically revolves around the two of them and him trying to uncover who she really is, what she's involved in, why people want her dead, and what the big kind of overarching conspiracies are that are driving all of this. And I'm told they're reasonably good, so there you are. There's all of them.
Yes. Wow, 9 books. And then you guys can see, based on what I have in my Amazon cart here, that I am prepping to do a character. You could probably figure it out. Press secretary. I'm working on it. I just got to order this red wig and this green shirt. And you guys will have a Jen Psaki impression coming soon. Okay, cool. All these books here. Oh, look, it's you. Okay. We were born the same year, by the way.
Oh, nice one.
1983. Great year. Great year.
Good year indeed, yeah. That was me minus the beard there.
Oh. Yes, I like you both ways. Sweet. Where can people find you, follow you, other than, the Critical Drinker on YouTube?
Yeah, so you'll find me on Twitter. I'm on YouTube. If you ever felt like you want to support the channel, you can find me on Patreon and Subscribestar. And between all of those different things, you can probably get in touch with me fairly easily.
Nice. Let me pull up your channel. No, that's your Twitter. Slow, muddled, and barely written. Oh yeah, because I was watching this. I think you had a really good point.
Man, look at that ratio. I got killed on that one.
Honestly, just when I think the MCU can't get any dumber or more disrespectful to its own legacy, along comes something like Loki to totally subvert my expectations. This show is an insult, not just to Marvel or its characters, but to basic storytelling, common sense, and human intelligence. It's a perfect example of what happens when hubris, agenda, and greed take priority over storytelling. A show made by people who either don't understand or openly hate the very property they've inherited, or simply don't care about anything except using them as a platform for the message.
I had to show the message. That was great. Yeah, everybody follow Critical Drinker on YouTube. Oh my goodness, more super chats are coming in. Thank you guys. Let me make sure I get them out here. Enoch Maman. The Last Man Standing is based on the Prohibition era gangster Red Harvest by Dashiell Hammett. The same book inspired Yojimbo by Akira Kurosawa, which was remade as Fistful of Dollars. It was a more straight adaptation of the book that inspired the previous two movies. Ooh, is that a question? No, this just
No, I
looks
think
like
he's just pointing stuff out.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you so much for the super chat. Matthew Hammond, what are your thoughts on the movie Executive Decision? It has enough Steven Seagal to be good, and then Kurt Russell put it over the top.
Yeah, Steven Seagal dies in it. It's great. It's a good movie, actually. It's really tense. Basically, they've got to get on board a plane that's been hijacked. Like they managed to sneak on board mid-air using like a stealth jet, and the terrorists have got like a big bomb on board. They got to try and disarm it and find the terrorists, stop them. It's all great, and it's got a good cast. Yeah, good movie. Thank you for reminding me of it, actually.
Are there any snakes on the plane? Because if they are, I will.
Sadly,
watch it.
no. No snakes on this one.
Oh, and more. Oh God, you guys with your names. Stube VJ, Cool Carney just bought Redemption Drinker. Love your YouTube work. Hoping to love your books too.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Aw, thanks. How do you Coostub? I gotta pronounce these a little maybe in advance. Awesome. And also check out Cushy Dreams for all things CBD related. At the checkout, use promo code CMP. They've got all different indica sativa blends. Just perfect for when you want to relax in a semi kind of natural kind of way. Go to cushydreams.com, KUSHY dreams.com, and use promo code CMP at checkout. You're gonna get 20% off your whole order. Drinker, thank you so much for joining me on the pod today. It was a pleasure to talk to you and talk about all the things we hate together.
Likewise. It's always good to rant.
Thank you, chat. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.